Hello, everybody, and it's showtime. Welcome to the Street Angel Show. And I am Mandelyn Reese, your host, and I've been running around in some public places since 2012, so like 8.5 years. And Angel Wings, I have posters front and back of the positive, universal, humanitarian nature, such as serve others with care and love, and you deserve love. Of all different kinds of posters throughout the years, but that's me. So that's my mission, to add positive posters into the world, positive messages. Lately, I've had some interesting feedback from a friend, actually. Like, I had gone to an event, and people apparently were talking about me and like confused about my mission, and they think it, like I'm trying to get attention, and I'm like, I wish people could understand me. Like, I wish they could just get it. But, a lot of people don't get it. Like, it's not about me per se, the human, the person. It's like I was given a mission, like from a higher divine place. Like, there's a stop sign in a road, right? And there's a pole that holds up the stop sign. That pole, its life purpose is to hold up the stop sign, right? I'm like the pole. I'm just the human paintbrush of God or something, like sent into the world to promote kindness and positive messages, because that's what I was told to do. And I wish people could see beyond, like, it's me, and look at me, I'm trying to get attention. No, it's like my divine purpose, like my calling. I was like told to do this. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify that for people who's watching. So the purpose of my talk show has always been to help and guide others. And my show today is going to be a little mixture of my guest. So she recently went blind in her adulthood. And so we're going to talk about what's it like to be blind and having that happen to you. But then also, we're going to talk about some sexual healing and sexual empowerment, and how she brings that into the world with her love and light. So, I just wanted to go through that. And then I'm going to bring in my guest. So her name is Candice Marie, and here she is. Hello, Candace.
Hi, Will.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here in festive spirit and sharing good vibes, as you said. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
She wore wings too, so we're both in wings, and she got pretty colorful stuff. And I got I got shamrock things, like a headband and earrings and things like that. And so I was like, I like to try to be with the theme of the holiday, whatever's, we got St. Patrick's Day coming up Wednesday. So hopefully everybody's got some fun plans. But so Candace, tell us a little about you. Like, where are you located? Like, you're in New Hampshire or something, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I would love to hear, how did you become blind? Like, let's hear the story. Like, what is the medical history to that?
Yeah. So I have something called retinitis pigmentosa. It's hereditary and degenerative. I didn't know I had it up until I was about 22 years old. And so I've had it my whole life, and basically it just slowly degenerates over time. And at about 22 is when it got, noticed from a friend that noticed. And when I found out about it, but at that time, I was also just getting off drugs and alcohol. And so I wasn't really ready to face this doing the blind thing. And I just needed large print I still could do, fine. And then about 3 years ago, it hit a pretty fast degeneration. And I feel like, yeah, it's entirely everything I once knew and things I could do, just no longer. It's an entirely new world that I am figuring out.
So you said your friend noticed first that you were having trouble seeing, or?
Yeah. She was asking me to get something for her, and I was under the cupboard. I couldn't see it, and she's like, "Candace, it's right there." And yeah, and she's like, I think there's something wrong with your eyes. I never had glasses, never thought that. Also, like I said, I was under the influence of drugs and alcohol from about 14 to 21, and I was raised by people who were heavily under the influence as well. So things don't get noticed as easily.
Right. So you were kind of attributing maybe issues to that, the addiction issues.
I didn't even know. You don't know you have it. The thing with the condition, the deterioration sometimes is it starts in your periphery, so it's very easy to not know what's happening.
I understand. And so are you trying to learn braille or anything just yet?
I'm doing a lot of training. Braille is usually best for when your children are younger. That's easy to learn. But there's a lot of technology that, I've met a lot of people that basically say, I can now do just about everything. And even if I'm not, I could. It's just going to take me longer, or I have to find a new way, and I don't know how yet. I'm in a place where I'm still, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of training though to find what are the tools I need, because each blind person is different as to what they need to feel like they're holding up.
Understood. Yeah. What have been some of your top struggles with this, new condition?
I think for me, it's been getting basic needs met. That's not everybody's. A lot of people either may have family or a partner or something. So that's just one of my things, like food, transportation, navigating something on my phone, finding something I lost. And then socially and relationally in interacting with the world, it's very different.
I can imagine. I mean, it literally changes everything. Yeah.
A lot of people use imagery, and everybody else uses their eyes, and so picking up on things takes me longer. I require different levels of communication, like to text. I can do that, So I feel like relating to me does require, doing things a little differently,
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. So, just a little background to the audience about Candace and I is we actually went through a Love Coach Academy program together. So we had a lot of interactions on Zoom together, Zoom conference calls with the Academy. And I heard about some of her struggles, and it breaks my heart, some of the things that you have gone through as a newly blind person, especially like losing trust with people, like not being able to trust, that people are going to do the right thing or treat you right, or, don't take advantage of you, kind of thing. Are there any stories you want to share about that example? Like,
yeah. So pre-going blind, I saw myself to be a very trusting person and just believed in the goodness and all. But unfortunately, as a blind person, I learned there are some people that take advantage of it, and I had them taken advantage of. So I'm definitely, re-navigating trust. For me, having a spiritual community and a relationship to trusting in the universe is what has been super nourishing, not putting my energy into that. And also recognizing I do need to do things differently. Like I may have to have new boundaries or restrictions or barriers in my, say, screening process of letting people in. Before, I could look at a picture and read a lot of someone, not like judgy wise, but I feel like you can learn a lot by how someone chooses to present themselves.
Oh, definitely. Like, I'm big on that too. Like, you pay attention to what they're wearing or their tattoos or how they've even done their hair, or like, yeah, I mean, you can pick up a lot of things visually, and people do judge, like, okay, maybe this person's kind of like this if they look like that. Like, so I totally understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you have to like listen and really like use other factors to kind of judge a person's energy or vibe or personality through your ears mostly.
Yeah. Yes, hearing someone's voice is very, very vital for me. And on that topic of not being able to see people, like on one level it's a blessing because I am human. And I'm grateful I don't get lost in the aesthetic of people. But it requires extra steps, extra time, and asking people to be really vulnerable and active, like in communicating. Really, people aren't used to it. They do this. I gotta take these off. I keep to fix them. I'm gonna put them up here. Is it weird?
It looks fine. It kind of looks like you have a birthday hat on.
I'm just pretending I'm at the beach.
Well, I think, you've had a lot of struggles, with the blindness, but besides that, you're a very fun, loving, happy personality. When you're not being taken advantage of and having your heart crushed from untrustworthy people. But, I've always seen you as a very fun, rainbow, fairy person like me. Like, so I feel your vibe. I feel your heart. And I've wanted to help and support you as I could. I mean, we live 5 billion miles away from each other, but I would like just to take a moment to share her, if anybody feels called. I would like to just share, Candace has a fundraiser. If you would like to just send her a little donation or some cash or a big donation, just to help her with her basic human needs. And she kind of explains, her background, and she has her struggles as blind person, just with getting along in life. So if anybody would like to find her on GoFundMe and send her a donation, just wanted to let that happen. Oh, we have a question from the audience, Candace. When did your blindness start?
Technically, I don't know because I'm born with it. So it starts degenerating at very young ages, but it starts on the outside very far, so it's easy to go unnoticed.
Well, I guess maybe when did the full blindness did you notice when that happened, or?
To explain what I can see, so I still have some vision, but I'm missing, like, there are parts of it that are gone. So if I look sideways, the interesting thing is I have a special form of RP where my best vision that's left is all the way over here. So when I look this way, I have to aim my eyes over here, though, and get you guys in this little tiny corner here. But still, I can't make anything out there. And when I turn back, the whole thing, a lot just goes missing. And the places I can see, it's like a piece of cellophane with really thick Vaseline on it. So there's a spectrum of blindness. I've been legally blind since I was 22 years old. But 2-3 years ago is when I feel like I really lost my capacity to do a lot on my own, navigating so many things. Yeah.
Okay. So when you say things go missing, is it like black? Or do you still have kind of a sensation of light? Or
it's just kind of gone. There's nothing. It's not like, the places when I do, there's places that are all blobby. And so, like, we have a field of vision. And some of my places in my field of vision, there's nothing. So it's not like I see black. It's just, I don't even see it. And then there are places that everything is like Vaseline glazed over.
Okay. So just
like
kind of
directly at you guys, you go like basically completely missing, can't identify anything. I have to turn my head to the side to get like, oh, there's that square thing to get you in that little spot that I actually had something.
So it's interesting, like you're not completely shrouded in black darkness, but you can't see. you can't see anything. So okay.
It's very kaleidoscopic. It's screwy. It's very, very weird.
I understand. Yeah, I mean, there's different levels of deafness. There's some people who can absolutely hear nothing, and there's some people who can maybe hear with hearing aids, or there's people who can maybe get a surgery and then they can hear. Like, there's all different forms and spectrums of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, okay. Thanks for clarifying for our audience. I guess we had some people wondering. So, now that we've is there anything else you want to share about going blind or what it's like, or would you like to, tell people how to have compassion for people who are blind, or?
I think a big thing is the level of need, the heightened level of need, and feeling like a burden is very common. So, for those that, facing a disability of some sort, strengthening our voice and our ability to ask for what we want and need and get really clear on that. And then you're relating to someone with a disability. I think there's a clear difference between caretaking and caregiving. Don't take someone's ability to take care of themselves away. it's offering or asking. Like, I love it when someone offers, but from an invitational, consensual place. And, trying to help them feel independent to some degree. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. And, just as my own message to the audience is to have patience and, have integrity with blind people. Don't take advantage of them, and treat them right, and be honest in your dealings, because, that's like the ultimate betrayal is, hurting or taking advantage of somebody who's blind or disabled. So I just wanted to put that out there, and if we could now maybe shift to the other part of the show that we were going to talk about. And so you had mentioned in prior, classes we were in together, some of your story. You had experienced some kinds of sexual abuse or trafficking in your younger years. And do you want to kind of tell us how that happened, or the story, or what do you want to share around that?
Yeah. So I was getting sexually abused from a young age, far back that I don't remember and I don't know at all. The brain likes to, it's a very smart mechanism. It takes things out if it doesn't know how to deal with it. Yeah, by multiple people in multiple ways. And then, when I became a young teen adult and sexually active, so to say, I was very promiscuous to start. I used sex as I felt like a tool. And I also picked up drugs and alcohol at that same time. And about 2 years in. Well, prior to this, around 14, there's a cat line that was going on. And I feel like before I started prostituting myself officially, basically what I was doing, love, for attention, to feel good about myself, and all sorts of random people, meeting people off these chat lines and being in really dangerous situations. When I was 14, I used to lie about my age and say I was 18. And then about 16-ish is when I hit the streets to just support my addiction. At first, it was just, I guess, all I knew, using my sexuality or being used. And then with my addiction, I just took it on. And
may I ask, what was your addictions besides alcohol?
Yeah, the alcohol got lost, and crack and heroin. When I was in the depths of being on the streets and putting myself in high-risk situations and prostitution is when I was smoking crack like every day. And you're smoking crack to the degree that I was. You don't sleep before you get up for like a week at a time and smoking crack 24/7, and you maybe sleep for an hour, get up and do it again. And so that's what I have to supply.
How did you break that? Because I've heard that, those two things are incredibly hard to break. Like, how did you do that?
I started trying to stop when I was about 18. I was scared. I ended up in a really scary situation, and somebody offered me to go to like a gospel mission rehab thing. And I really wasn't ready. I don't have the entire answer. I feel like on a spiritual level, it took me, and it takes a lot of people from processing and letting go of little bits and pieces. Like for me, letting go of these men and these behaviors was a big part of me breaking free of my addiction. But essentially, AA, the 12 steps, is what saved my life when I was 21. I threw myself at the program. I volunteered. I became very active in that community of addiction treatment and trauma therapy. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. I mean, that's an incredible transformation. You have to be incredibly brave, not only to, seek the help and jump into it, but to get through it and come out successful. So thank you for sharing that it can be done. If you know somebody who's struggling with addiction, help support them to seek help. You got to keep supporting them during the help, and then, celebrate them when they, manage to complete the process. I mean, it's a struggle. The struggle is real, So, I mean, you're a success story, and do you how would you say, I actually have read that people who have suffered from some sort of sexual trauma in their childhood or younger years, they do sometimes end up promiscuous. They act out because that's kind of what they know, like, or it just manifests that way later in adulthood, like acting out sexually. Do you kind of turned your experiences into a healing situation, like that you offer people? So what would you say if you were to give a little bio of your services that you offer? Like you're kind of a sexual healer, and how do you want to word it?
It's looked a lot of different ways over the years, because of my history.
Right.
I had to navigate coming into this very carefully. But the thing about some traditional governmental societal acceptable recovery or treatment models do not have, they don't talk about and stuff like that. That part of me was not getting the healing that it needed. So I had my spiritual beliefs on this, and then intellectually it's different. My spirit, because when I first entered the world of sexual healing or sex work, as some say, I didn't know initially why I was doing it. I just knew that, sorry, I get really emotional because the sexuality was amazing, and other people seemed to see something amazing in me and in my sexuality, and other people seemed to be enjoying me, but I was not having that experience, and I wanted that to change. So initially, I entered this world as a webcam model, and for me, it was behind the screen and created a level of safety that I needed for me to explore some parts of me. And then I ventured into actually working with people. And at first, it really was just about me. I entered this world, and I love helping people. You know, I was really in service. And I figured, hey, you know, why not take on something new, something fun, and then it just it exploded. It was actually a client that came to me that told me about Tantra, and that this wasn't something I just made up, that sexuality is sacred, and that there are ways in which we can connect with ourselves and one another, that promote so much more love, as well as can break open stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I don't know if I will break that down or
yeah. So I love that you said, you know, sexuality can be sacred, you know, and this is something like there's people who get a lot of miscommunication around Tantra. You know, people who aren't familiar, like they don't bother to research it. They seem to judge that Tantra is all about being extra sexy. Like they're probably confusing it with Kama Sutra. That's kind of like crazy poses and stuff. But like Tantra, from all of my actual workshops I've had with people who are in higher levels of the experience of it, it's really about having a higher connection with your sacred, beloved sexual partner. Like, let's say you have you know, a significant other, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a wife, whatever, husband, whatever label you want, a person you're having sex with, okay? But let's say you want to have a deeper experience with them. That's Tantra. They teach you posing, specific poses to balance the masculine, feminine energies and use it in combination with breath work, specific breathing, eye gazing, caressing. And then it's kind of about an extremely slowed down workup into foreplay. And, you know, it can incorporate massage of the, you know, the lower region. And it's not always an intention of getting a person off. It's also about a healing experience. Like sometimes when people have the area massaged in different ways, different pressure points can actually cause a release of healing of trauma. You know, it's hard to understand unless you've actually seen it and experienced it for yourself. But I've actually taken like a Tantra weekend workshop at the Source Tantra in Venice, like literally down, you know, the top guy in the country. I went and took a Tantra workshop, and it was literally about, you're supposed to kind of do it with a sacred partner, somebody you really want to bond on another dimension with, you know. And so just so anybody wanted to know, like, I just wanted to throw some education in there about Tantra, because I feel like there's a lot of judgment around the word and misunderstanding and miscommunication about it, you know.
And that's, yeah, I'm glad you brought up everything that you brought up. You know, so there's a few things I want to drop in on. Tantra is a Sanskrit word that essentially means to weave. And more often than not, we're relating to ourselves and to others from a very fragmented place, not very present. We're not connecting our heart to our sex, to our mind, to spirit, to whatever that means for you. And you know, if you take in all these amazing parts of us and put them together, it's just like taking these things that are so great on their own, but you put them all together and they just make something even that much more powerful. And yes, it is unfortunate that the perception of Tantra has gotten very pigeonholed, and it's okay if you feel safe only exploring, this way, that way. Just remember, there is no one way. You can, and there is Tantra for everyone. Some people call Tantra, and Tantra to them is just genital massage. Cool. If that's as comfortable and where you want to go with it, cool. That may not be your version. I have a hard time with physically or genitally focused sexuality. Sexuality is not just about intercourse or oral or genitals. It is about taking all the amazingness that we limit to a couple seconds of time, or we give over to someone else, and pulling it into ourselves and expanding it into the rest of our life. Now, the other piece I really want to drop in on. So I'm a CT with Source School as well. I've been to several Tantra schools. I had a very traumatic experience at my first Tantra training. I had no idea what I was signing up for. I went alone, and just really make sure you read everything and know exactly what you're signing up for, and you're ready for that, have the support that you need, because your sexual energy has the power to clear out, to open. That's the nature of it. It's life. It creates life. And so when you start playing with this sexual energy, these new ways, inviting it into you or inviting others into you with their energy, stuff's gonna come up. It's very, very tender and vulnerable and raw and real. Finally, the right Tantra teacher for you. It's very fast.
Yeah, I want to share a vulnerable sentence or two. Like, hopefully it doesn't scandalize everybody too much, but there have been times where, a handful of times, where it's like I would have an orgasm, but that orgasm actually triggered something within me that brought up tears, like crying. Like sometimes it moves energy in a way that you don't expect it to move. And especially if you're going something really hard, sometimes having an orgasm can actually, release that need to cry or and heal from whatever it is that has hurt you or traumatized you. And you do need to be careful in a certain sense with some Tantra workshops or partners. If you don't know what could come up, I mean, you just have to have that support system, and usually they'll try to offer that. If you're in a good Tantra group, you're going to have some partners or some elders or some, people that can hold that space for you to heal and release wounds that come up. You know what I'm saying? So I love that you're like a multi-modality healer. You work with sound therapy, you work with body sliding, you work with massage. Like, I love that, you use multimodality, whatever you got to do to bring a positive experience to your client that you're working with. Like, you see it in a deeper way, and I get it. And so, yeah, I think it's beautiful. And I want to show the audience your website if you'd like to read a little bit about what Candice does. She has I think I did the wrong button. So she let me see, Temple of Frolic. So templeoffrolic.com, can everybody see? Okay, there it is. So you can see, discover your own sexual path, and a little bit about her and her services. You can book with her. Do you also offer maybe some online, like a coaching? I mean, I might know somebody who would like a webcam service with you or something.
Yeah, I offer virtual services as well. Yeah, and I did. I'm putting my event virtually now too. So I have tantric meditation Q&A coming up on the 30th. So if you want to learn more, then because there's so many places that we can go. Like if you go to my website, you'll see like I've broken it down into 4 different tiers. Depending on where you are, how deep you're feeling like you're ready to go and exploring.
It's beautiful. So yeah, you can book with her. Do you have an email that you could tell people, or?
Yeah, but if you want to get in touch with me, my phone is the best way.
Your phone?
Yeah.
Do you want to share that?
Yeah. And that's 603-247-5288.
5288?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I get a bad reception. But so yeah, that's Candace's website, templeoffrolic.com. What would you say, what advice can you give people for a good place they can start if they want to get some healing around their sexuality or their trauma or their wounds?
Self-pleasure.
Self-pleasure.
Connecting with yourself. Yeah, find a coach, find healers, there's that. But anyone that comes to me, my intention and goal is to help them find the access to everything they're putting on me or sending to me in their own body and in their own life. And being able to create the experience of, the magic here in a moment's time at home, and to really expand upon the practice. And when you're with someone else, yeah, I mean, you're going to be open, you're going to be open to some degree. When you're with yourself, there's so much you can do, and creating a connection to yourself, your voice, your pleasure, and being your own creator and connecting to your own divine healing power. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I hope, somebody out there needed to hear that, I feel like there's a lot of shame and guilt around sexuality. There's so much shame and guilt around our basic sexual energy, our desire. I want to blame a lot of organized religion for this. For some reason, they guilt and shame everybody just for having sexual energy. I don't understand why all the guilt and shame around it. It's like literally that is a God-given energy in our body to procreate, but it also comes with pleasurable sensations. And I really don't know why all the the sexual torture throughout the ages around the shaming, and because once it's instilled in childhood for almost all of us, it's shameful to masturbate, it's guilty to explore. It just drives me nuts, all the shaming and guilt. And once you can actually be aware of it within your own brain, that's where you can start the healing process. The first step is awareness that you have been subjected to dogma that's very negative, and you can start healing and embracing to have more sexual empowerment. And what does that mean is really just feeling safe in your own skin to own your sexual energy, right? I mean, okay, yes, God gave me this energy. How am I going to manifest it in my life? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's many layers and levels of sexual shame that happens societally. You don't have to have a first story. Um, like I said earlier, I was talking about my past. I have some spiritual beliefs around why I have my history and yada yada yada. And this ties into what I'm feeling right now in relationship to shame. I'm trying to put my words together for it. It's really, really wild and scary to talk about because of the shame. I don't know why that it exists. I could never say why. I think on one level, it makes sense because it's the most powerful energy in this world. It's scary. You can get someone pregnant, you can get an STI. Oh my God, you can fall in love and they're gonna leave. Ah! Okay. When you open yourself to someone, so there is a science. I'm not like totally being woo-woo. There is science that happens where the same hormones that are released from a mother's breast milk are the hormones, their body hormones, that get released to re-engage with people sexually. And so it's really not enough to be masculine. And so I get why people are scared of it, and it brings up a lot of stuff. But I also just, as much as I get it, that's why, as hard as it is sometimes, for me to be as sexually open and free and to be a sex educator, I have to. I have to. It's so painful to see and to feel and witness the missing magic that we could all be experiencing.
Yeah, I would say for people to, pick through your brain and identify what are some negative, outdated beliefs that you have held on to from childhood around sexual energy that literally could be causing an energetic blockage in your lower chakras. So your lower chakras, like the root chakra and the sacral chakra, those hold and deal with a lot of your sexual energy. If you've got a bunch of blockages from old sexual wounds, trauma, outdated beliefs, could clog with dark energy in your body, and we're multiple layers, right? We're not just a physical body. We are emotional body. We are mental body. We are spiritual body. We are layers. If you like put on the super awesome, crazy magnifying thing, we're balls of energy. We're rainbow light. That's the chakra system. And, we can have blockages from things that have happened to us, things that people have said to us, bullying, all kinds of things. Like, but it's one of the most painful things is gotta be, being subjected to abuse in your childhood, whatever form, because those things are what can manifest later in your adulthood as various things. Addiction, especially because people are always trying to find something to numb their pain, whereas it could actually be amplifying problems when you're, trying to turn to addictions to suppress whatever's going on the inside from long ago. And addictions have a tendency to get worse over time. But Yeah, is there any last kind of stuff you want to wrap around that?
Yeah, it's something you had mentioned earlier. I wanted to speak into about how you experience the release of tears when you reach certain peaks of pleasure. This is something I've been experiencing for a while, and I think, and I've heard through my learning that a lot of people have this, but they're scared to let it out because crying isn't sexy, or oh, I'm supposed to be all like, and, orgasm or pleasure, it's like that tear or that scream or whatever is coming out of you is that, like Mandy was saying, the releasing of these blockages. That's why I suggest connecting with yourself and engaging with self-pleasure, so you can really be with yourself and feel yourself, let yourself go to these places. And I, with myself, I do very guided, intentional healing work. And it can be scary. Like, who wants to think about their child being abused as a child while pleasuring themselves? It doesn't sound normal, but I need to recreate these patterns. I'm the only, that's in my body. And I've worked with a lot of healers. I have had a lot of great work by other providers and practitioners. But for me, it really comes back to me doing that for myself and holding that for myself. And when I'm with partners, especially if I'm very particular about intercourse, especially because of this. And if I know, like right now, I'm doing a lot of trauma work, so I can't go messing around, just opening myself up like that. I need to make sure that person is aware that if we go here, there might be something on the other side. I might cry, and this is what I need, and you think you can do this, and set up the container, for the healing to happen. And not everybody is prepared for that, because again, that shame and the reality that we're not all taught this. It's not, unfortunately, it's not a part of our regular curriculum. But it's what's happening in life.
Yeah. Well, thank you for such a beautiful conversation. Like the whole thing, but especially your willingness to discuss the sexual component, because this show is to help others. If other people can get some sort of golden nuggets to help their life, or to help see things differently or in a new light, to cause enlightenment, that was our goal. And thank you for beautifully bringing your wisdom to share with everybody in this universe, and your fun spirit and ability to talk candidly about things. I want to show your website one more time. Let me just make sure I get the right one. Actually, I'll show mine, because then I can go to yours. Okay, so if everybody, you can catch my latest talk show, which this one with Candice will be on my website. Once it processes through YouTube, it should be there by tomorrow. But so yeah, there's that. But if you wanted to get coached by me, I offer one-on-one coaching. And if you mention this talk show, I can offer you a consultation, like a specialty little thing for $29. But otherwise, my packages are listed here. And I also do healing work. That's in person, of course, if you're around Texas, San Antonio. And I have products for sale. So finally, I've got my angel relationship card deck for sale. I'm so happy about this. So this is romantic relationship angel guidance cards. And you can, they help you navigate your romantic relationships from a higher level, and, tune into your inner voice. So you can order those off my website. And I have a epic healing CD. this can actually be particularly helpful, especially with healing of sexual trauma and old wounds. So I can mail this to you if you order one. It's a sound healing and guided meditation to walk you through each one of your energy center chakras to clear out old wounds and energy and baggages and blockages. So there's that. And I want to go to Temple of Frolic. And then again, just showing you Candace's website. If you want to book something with her or talk with her or get some coaching with her or in person if you're in New Hampshire. And there is also, hopefully you can see her her fundraiser if you'd like to donate to her GoFundMe. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Candace, for a beautiful show. And many blessings to you. And you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, thank you. And to everyone out there, I hope that this definitely brought alive some yumminess in you. And thank you, Mandy, for this opportunity to share and connect.
You're very welcome. Thank you to the audience for watching. I hope you got some great stuff out of this conversation and education and guidance. And all right, God bless everybody, and toodaloo, goodbye. Bye, Candace.